Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 7th of March. Looking at the euro dollar first today, again, almost as usual. It's the most tradable pairing for me normally. At the moment we're just seeing it run into its monthly R1 and having a bit of a reaction to that sort of level. The question, of course, is can it push further? And I think there's a possibility. We do have a rather large option expiry coming in on Friday around that 125 area, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. It's, as I say, rather large, and we could see a bit of manipulation going through. But for now, there's certainly some uncertainty into these markets with the resignation of the White House advisor Cone, so we'll have to see what comes out of that. There's a lot of talk backwards and forwards, so I'm expecting the markets maybe to digest that this morning. For now, with the euro, it's really pointing upwards mostly. It's in this sort of upward trend, high lows, high highs. There is potential of the pullback to the daily pivot here. There's very little in the way of significant news out today to do too much. We have got significant news tomorrow, and on Friday, of course, non-farms. Tomorrow we've got the ECB meeting, so plenty to rock the boat ahead. At the moment, though, it's how it's setting up, and the markets are really scratching around, I think, for ideas. But for now, as you can see, we've since late yesterday morning, leading through, we've only just on the euro just been edging our way slightly higher. Could be just say more buying going on here, and we could see a shove up. As I said, I would like to have seen the daily pivot hit, but we'll just see what happens first thing this morning. Any sell-off beyond that 21s obviously make the pivot a high probability. And it may be an opportunity to be buying around that area. We'll see how it goes. There's a marginal divergence, I think, very faint divergence on the hourlies here. So a bit in between there. Pound's a little bit more decisive at the moment. It's still sitting in this sort of greater range. It did carry on pushing up. It's had 4 days in a row positive at the moment, and it's run into the monthly pivot. Tick that box. Now, see whether or not it can get another shove up there. This morning, initially, we've seen a bit of selling, but it's just come back towards the 4-hourly 8 and testing that at the moment. So we'll see, and the daily pivot there. So again, it's just how it reacts this morning. I mean, yesterday it just took off later. You see it's starting to move. Really, it gave a bit of a heads up on that 9 o'clock bar. But it wasn't really till 10, 11 o'clock. Well, all the markets moved around about 11 o'clock. But that was a sort of the kicker yesterday. And, well, we'll see if we get more of the same today. But at the moment, I've got an erring towards the upside here as well. You just look at the chart. It's high lows, higher highs, all the way through the price action. Yep, it's come back, called the daily pivot. But it may even be an early-ish buy. On this morning. I'm just looking at a 15-minute chart just to get a bit more idea. When you see that, you see how, well, it may just be playing us this morning. So I think it's just well worth being patient and seeing if it breaks through the pivot to the downside. Well, then I keep an eye on things. It may just still want to come back to the 15-minute 200 to 60-minute 50. There's some areas underneath there it may just come back to, and still find itself later on in the morning pushing up. So keeping a close eye on that. So that's the pound. Dollar yen. Well, question I had this morning: are we going to see it pushing up from where we are at the moment? But when you look at this daily picture, it's really quite bearish at the moment. And I think you can't pin it on too much. If the euro and the pound are going up, the yen would be coming down. But you'd expect that. But in normal circumstances, but it's not putting any sort of signals in here for the upside. Largely lower highs, lower lows, sort of kicking through up until this point here, where it's a bit messy. This week so far, it's not the clearest of what's coming back to the daily here. Not the clearest of markets. So just looking at the hourly here, and there is the daily pivot to be touched on the upside, just as I want to see the euro pushing back if it starts pushing upwards. Will it push up there? There's no real signal for me to be looking to buy from where it is at the moment, but of course it could push up there at some point. But it may be worth waiting to see the reaction to the 21s first. If it starts selling off those, I'd rather be on the sell side. So rather be sell side at the moment on the yen until it tells me differently or shows me differently. Aussie dollar. So it's funny how more news through the Asian session there. It's been trying to edge up. Yes, they were a decent move up at so one of these markets that could trade wars and higher oil prices or money being put on things is just not, tariffs being put on, I should say, not great for a big exporting country of raw materials. Bit bitty. And again, no real obvious. I mean, maybe edging on the upper side still, and I'm actually looking at it coming down to the 60-minute. It looks a little bit clearer in a sense in terms of what's going on, and maybe a break above the daily pivot would see us looking for yesterday's highs there. So there's the potential, certainly there. Okay, and finally the Canadian dollar, which is a risk. It's it has a big risk being one of the US biggest trading partners. But that's well, seen a bit of a bounce yesterday. Yesterday it seems to handle well, come off quite well yesterday, but not holding on to that move this morning, and still the bigger picture suggests further upside, and even in the shorter term frames here. Again, it's one of these, if it starts breaking, there's a decent trend line sitting across, let's see if I can get the chart, there we go, across these highs here, and that 50, if it starts breaking above there, well then it's more of a bullish move, I would suggest. We're looking at the bigger picture. Where it is at the moment, well, it's still got the daily pivot below, and it could head off south for that. Yeah, if it starts breaking below those lows, well, daily pivot maybe a bit more, but it gets quite choked at times at the moment, so I'm not in a rush to trade it either way, but maybe if it breaks the upper side, it would look better for me in the bigger trend of what we're seeing here. Okay, finally, sorry, someone's just remarked in the time frame, there's no divergences on the time frames, upper time frames on the yen at all. Oh, beg your pardon, on the daily there was, but I mean it's worked its way flat really. Okay, so as I say, nothing for me there for now. Okay, have a great one. Bye for now.